Morning, Nanette.
Hello, Tom. Good to see you.
Thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me.
No problem.
All right, fantastic. I hope you've had a chance to look over the draft learning program I sent over.
Yes, I have.
All right. So as per our phone discussion previously, you've identified some issues with your staff, and I believe we can make a positive change for the ABC warehouse by implementing some training, and hopefully we can improve knowledge and skills in your workforce. What areas were you looking to focus on?
So we've noticed an increase in the amount of staff injuries and subsequent increase in workers' comp. We definitely need to reduce both the injury and the cost. We believe that this may be due to the lack of training in manual handling, and most of the injuries relate to back, neck and knee, and that's sort of relating to shifting and lifting stock. We would therefore require our staff to be trained in manual handling relevant to our organisation. Our most valuable resource at ABC is our staff, and we want to invest in their wellbeing by training them to work safely, understand their workplace responsibility and reduce injury.
Yeah, righto. That's great. It's important for staff to have the knowledge and skills to do their job safely and avoid injury, as we can both agree on.
Yep.
I've done some research and developed a great looking learning program that I believe will help achieve your goals of reduced workers' compensation claims. This learning will provide learners with knowledge on risk identification and assessment of the tasks at hand.
That sounds good.
They'll also be learning about safe lifting techniques and the implementation of lifting aids and equipment.
Good.
We'll also dive into assessing the weights and materials.
Oh, that's good.
Standards of manual handling as per WHS guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also be having a pretty in-depth look at your safe operating procedures at ABC Warehouse. Do you think this covers off on all of your concerns?
Oh, absolutely. That sounds great. I definitely would like our standard operating procedures updated with the learning that the staff will have and your teaching, so as we basically have the most up-to-date document that we can. I don't think our staff have a full understanding of some of the procedures. This training would be for 8 of our warehouse staff, including the 2 members that are off on alternate duties at the moment. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, that sounds fine. We can definitely make that work. Out of the 10 employees, do you see any issues with language, literacy, numeracy that I need to take into consideration during the training sessions? These could include English as a second language or any disability or learning impairments.
Look, the main issue is that we have 2 staff that speak limited English. They will need special consideration support with both written and verbal information. But I don't believe any of the other staff should have difficulties with the training.
Okay, no worries. Can you give me an idea of the members of staff that will be a part of the training in regards to age, background, their experience?
Yep, sure. Joe and Dave are Vietnamese and speak limited English. They have a good understanding of our workplace. But it can be difficult to communicate with them, particularly with trying to implement changes or new techniques. 3 members of the staff are over 50, and the remainder are between 25 and 49 years old. 3 are over 50, and they have a few challenges with new technology. All employees have completed up to year 10 education.
All right. Okay. So the learning program that I've developed will address individual employees' needs in relation to learning and their work, which will hopefully make them feel more confident in what they're learning. and then contribute to use these techniques and knowledge while in the workplace. I'll use different resources during the training, which will accommodate the identified LLN issues.
That'd be good.
I can also provide some training resources in Vietnamese for Joe and Dave. That may assist them.
I think
During the first session, I'll be handing out a LLN survey, just so that I'm able to be certain there's no other underlying LLN requirements that we're going to need to address. In regards to Joe and Dave, how do you feel they learn naturally in the workplace? For example, I see in my notes you mentioned over the phone that you have invested in a new set of scales for your warehouse. What methods were used to induct them into using that equipment?
Look, that's a really good question. They're both very visual learners, as are most of the staff with that specific scale. A demonstration was provided. In addition, some visual instructions were attached to the scale, and a copy of the user manual was also provided, and that actually sped up the induction process.
Fantastic. I really got to commend you on that. That sounds like you've really taken the time to accommodate them. So during the learning program, I'll be providing staff with the information they need to undertake manual handling tasks, as well as the supporting knowledge needed for them to really understand their duties and the safety involved.
Oh, that's
In
good.
addition, I'd like to utilize the warehouse on site so that I can highlight where, how, when, and why the learning is applied in their normal duties. Will this work for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds great. Can you also provide visual prompts and signage for each item or each task that you're going to demonstrate?
All right, visual prompts and signage. Fantastic. And that's a great point too, Nanette. Now, as far as the program, it will need to take place over 5 days.
Right.
The first 4, which would be set mostly in a classroom. Is there a space suitable where I can use a projector and students can sit comfortably?
Oh, absolutely. There's a large muster room is located next to the warehouse, which staff use during their lunch breaks, etc. It has tables, chairs, toilets, etc. And all that's required for you to make presentations. I'm able to take you there and have a look if that would suit after we have this discussion.
Yeah, that sounds like a top spot. I'd like to have a look a little later. So like I said, it's 5 days during which 4 hours roughly a day will be spent in the muster room.
Right.
Working through course material and recapping each day via quizzes, questionnaires, role play, etc.
Right.
There'll be some reading material for them to go over, possibly in their own time. Will that suit?
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds fine. How do you plan to tailor the training to our workplace and to our staff?
I'm glad you asked. So, being that we're next to the warehouse, if we have any spare time, we can go and have a look at the work area and apply the course material to normal day-to-day tasks. Hopefully this will aid in keeping them engaged and allow for them to discuss with the trainer and themselves about how best to implement the course material.
That sounds
In
good.
addition, I'll be accommodating Joe and Dave with their language barrier via Vietnamese translated content, I think. As well as us sort of taking the extra time to establish a solid understanding of the course material. The material will be displayed in an appropriate reading level, and all questions will be answered in detail. So if they need to know anything, I'm an open book.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, look, I definitely would like you as a priority to demonstrate in the work area, because that's where it counts, to go through the day-to-day tasks. So that all sounds good. And you've obviously thought long and hard about the course and staff requirements since we last met, Tom.
Indeed, I have. So in relation to the draft program, are there any quality assurance procedures that I should be aware of? Anything that I haven't taken into consideration already?
Not in relation to the job roles of the staff working in the warehouse. No, they're all covered.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yep. So in summation, the learning program will commence next Monday and run for 4 hours each day up until the last day, which will be an 8-hour day roughly.
Right.
It'll begin with revision in the morning, followed by a theory exam, and then a practice of the practical and a practical test at the end of that. Staff will be assessed on their understanding of their obligations, risk
Right.
identification skills, and their
Good.
ability to implement the training in the workplace.
That's
How does
great.
that sound?
Look, that sounds great. And what I'd like you to do is to provide any concerns back very quickly to me about any of the staff, so as I can support them and support you. So we can provide them with possibly courses in English or those sorts of things if you feel it's appropriate.
Absolutely. So with the course, we'll collect quite a bit of feedback on the course itself, and
Right.
we'll also have all the assessment outcomes there to go over. Are you happy to pencil in another Zoom meeting, say the day after the assessment?
I would like to do that, but I also need to say that if people are very much out of their depth, I'd like to know earlier than that.
Yeah.
If you feel that people aren't learning or if they're feeling threatened by the course, I need you to let me know sooner. As soon as it happens, just give me a call.
Absolutely, not a drama. And just so you know, if anyone is struggling through the course, or say someone doesn't meet the mark on one or both of the assessments, I am
Yeah.
more than happy to take the time one-on-one until there is an understanding met. And I'm happy for you to be involved in that process if need be.
That's wonderful, because our staff are our most precious possessions, and we want to support them in any learning that they undertake and have a good outcome.
That's, like I said, best attitude. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so
Thanks,
much for
Tom.
meeting with me, and we'll be speaking on Monday.
That would be lovely. Thanks, Tom.
Fantastic. Bye, Nanette.
Bye.